We're here in Toronto with Sydney Blu. Thanks so much for coming in. You have a big party tonight, and probably kind of an emotional party as well at Footwork. What are your feelings moving into it?
It's super emotional because I've literally been playing there since the club's inception, and I'm happy to have been able to have been a part of it since the beginning. You know what I mean? I feel lucky. It's funny because Footwork, like, for me, it was just like, a spot that I DJ'd locally, like when I was a local here. And then when I left, it was the club that always booked me to come back, you know what I mean, as an international guest. And they've been behind me for so long, you know what I mean? And, even though they're moving and stuff like that, and I'll still continue to play for them, they're my family. And, it's a really special night for me because obviously this is my last big show there. And, so I'm doing a special, like, extended set. I've, planned my set thoroughly, like playing some classics. It's going to be really special. And, like, everybody who has come out, like, every single show for the last 8 years will pretty much be there tonight. So, there's so many reasons why it's emotional and because of the memories and everything like that. But it's all good stuff, you know what I mean? And it's definitely going to continue on in just a new venue and stuff like that. But there definitely will never be another club like Footwork. And I'm sure once it's gone, people will hold it even higher regard because it's not there anymore. And you know what I mean? Once people haven't been there for a while, they'll start missing it. And, it'll go down as one of those legendary clubs like Industry or like System Soundbar or whatever,
Gotta make sure your set's recorded tonight then.
It will be recorded tonight. And Starving Yet Full, the lead singer of Azarian Third, is performing with me, which is going to be really special as well. We just finished doing a new record, and he's also performing some of his other solo records. So it's going to be really, really special.
Have you had a chance to work with them at another venue, or is this kind of a one-off, let's go sort of thing?
No, I haven't, I've never performed with him. He's never performed with me yet. He's a really good friend of mine now. I know Azarian Third because before they were Azarian Third, one of the guys, Christian Newhook, was, he went to school and took audio engineering with me at Trebas. And, and then Cedric, who's singing with me tonight, I've known him, just through the gay scene in Toronto. And then Fritz Helder, the same thing. I've known him because he was in Fritz Helder and the Phantom. So I've known them all individually for a long time. And then it was cool to see them blow up in the last couple of years. But I got reconnected with Cedric around Pride. Well, a little bit longer than that. And then he came and hung out with me at Pride. They performed at Digital Dreams. I was there for that. And then we started talking about doing something. And then when I had this opportunity, to have a guest with me for this show, I requested to have him perform. And we even got, we got into the studio to do a new track for it. So that's cool.
So Footwork closing, government closing, comfort zone closing, a lot of changes in Toronto moving forward. How do you see this affecting what you do and how the rest of the city kind of interacts with the EDM scene now, as it's really, really referred to in popular sense?
Yeah, I don't really think it's going to affect me at all because new venues are opening and people close things because they move on to something new. You know what I mean? With the exception of Comfort Zone, obviously, all the people involved in those clubs are people that have big things on the go, you know what I mean? And they're closing one door to open another. So, I don't really play for the government anymore. I haven't in years, but Footwork, I will continue to play for that crew and that family. They're opening a new venue at the old Annex Rec Room. I'm sure, a lot of people have heard about it already. They're open the week after Footwork closes, so there is no gap. It's literally the door is closing and then it opens the next week. So, I don't think it's going to affect me at all. But, going back to the memories, those three clubs are a massive chapter of my life, you know what I mean? And my career as a DJ in Toronto, as a local DJ in Toronto, because, I've been DJing for 13 years, but, before that, I was a local here. And the first well, not before the 13 years, but the first like 6 of those 13 years were me being a local in this city. Maybe 8, actually. 8 of those 13 years were me being just a local in that city. Like I was traveling a little bit like in Canada, but I wasn't signed to any agencies. Like I was playing in Toronto, 2, 3, 4 nights a weekend, at those clubs that you just mentioned. So all the 3 of them closing, it's definitely a big memory for me and a big part of me, that will be closing, I guess, with it. But, we've all moved on, so that's life.
Well, I remember when I was living in the area, I came to saw you at Beba on a Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was that you're doing events there.
Yeah,
so
oh my God.
It goes. So, do you still feel as though Toronto's home or what?
Yeah, I totally do. I feel like completely like, it's weird. I go through phases with it. I travel. I haven't lived in Canada since 2010. And, but I always come back here and I always feel like it's home. It's like all my really close friends are here. And, there's always something. I go through phases where something brings me back and then I'm back for a while. I've definitely been here a lot this summer. I definitely have been here even a lot this fall. I've been here a couple times already this fall. It's just, I always come back. I mean, it's my home. I own a home here. I still have a lot of ties here. So it's just like, it is my home away from my home. I love Los Angeles now though. That's where I live and I'm really happy there too. So, but I mean, if I were to move back to Canada, I would move back to Toronto.
You've been bouncing around touring a lot. What's sort of been the craziest venue or location that you've been at in the last couple of years?
I mean, the craziest thing I've ever done was actually here, and that was the Rogers Center with Deadmau5, because that was like 35,000 people, and I've never played in a massive stadium that size before. But I've done, some incredible venues in Los Angeles, like Avalon, incredible club, as well as the Exchange, and then I've done the Groove Cruise the last 3 years, which is this amazing cruise party EDM thing on the water that goes from Miami, and we just did the LA West Coast version as well just a couple weeks ago, and that was incredible. Miami, I lived there for 3 years. Space was one of my best gigs there, and I've done some really incredible shows everywhere. Like I'm playing in Chicago a lot now, and I have a great relationship with the clubs that I play out there, and I just feel really grateful to be able to do what I do and meet so many awesome friends in different cities along the way.
Anywhere you'd like to check out that you haven't had a chance to?
Well, I just got signed to a new European agency, so I'm definitely going to be doing overseas traveling more. I definitely want to spend a little bit more time in Ibiza. I've been to Ibiza twice, played Space, did some shows there, but I'm ready to next summer really get my claws into Europe and I'd like to play Electric Daisy Carnival. Actually, one of the most incredible things I've done, I can't believe I didn't say this already, but in the last couple of years I did Burning Man this year for the first time, and that was definitely one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, the whole thing in general, never mind the gig.
You talked a little bit before we got on, Mike, about a documentary that you're working on and involved with. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm doing a documentary called Being Sydney Blue with my record label, Black Hole Recordings. And it's a documentary series about my life and, my trips and my traveling and what it's really like to be me. And we've done 4 episodes. We were supposed to be filming more than we are. We've only done 4 episodes so far since February, but the thing about it is it's so much work. The editing, the post-production, everything, it's a lot, right? So we filmed episode 5 recently, which is the Groove Cruise, and episode 4 was actually filmed here in Toronto, and it's a really cool episode about my history in the city and the people that were a part of it. But they're 15-minute long episodes. And it's about the trip, the gig, the history with my city, with that city, if I have any, you know what I mean? Or whatever's going on, in that particular city. So I definitely want people to check it out. It's on YouTube. You can just watch it. It's an online thing. And we always post on my Facebook page and all the socials and stuff like that, so you can keep in touch with it.
New productions moving forward? Maybe an artist album at some point?
Oh, definitely an artist album. I have to. That's actually something I have to be working on right now. But I'm signed to Black Hole, and it's a great relationship with them, and I'm going in a little bit more of the housey tech house kind of direction now with my music. Like, I'm still doing EDM. I'm still playing, the bigger venues, and I'm playing, the bigger room stuff, but I'm definitely going more in a little bit more of like an underground techier kind of vibe with my music production anyways. I just got a record signed to Hot Fingers that's coming out next month. It's called Who Gives a Something. I don't want to swear. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of other stuff that's going to be coming out in the next little while. So, I mean, just keep on, Facebook fan page, like, and Twitter, it's all on there. I post like 3 times a day stuff that's going on. There's always something that's happening, so.
Do you feel as though it's sort of maturity that's moving you towards a different sound, or is it something you've always wanted to do and always been kind of like, well, I've produced this way and my fans prefer it this way or are used to it, so I should continue on? Or is this sort of like could you call this an alias? Or what's so funny is my agent has recommended that if I go really underground with certain records that I should make an alias for it, and I get that because I mean that's just kind of what you have to do to get taken seriously by certain people. But for me, like, I've played everything my entire career. I don't like the fact that you have to be pigeonholed into one like genre, especially when you're a really versatile DJ. I mean, some people would argue it, some people would agree with me. I personally just think that for me, I went off in a direction of playing EDM when I went to Miami because I was kind of pressured into playing that kind of music because of the venues that I was playing at. And, I made this massive move to a brand new city, to a brand new country. And, I wasn't playing stuff I didn't want to play. I just kind of like everything was going in that direction. And I've always played a little bit commercial. Like when the whole electro house movement came about, I was playing electro house. You know what I mean? I was with that curve as well. But something happened with me. Like, I was really happy with my album, my compilation album that came out in June. Changed the Game. It did quite well. It had a lot of EDM records on it, but it also had some tech house and some deep house on it. And I also just started thinking to myself as, I was releasing that album that I was getting, having so much reception to my, techier records. And when I played the techier shows that I was thinking, I really kind of just want to do this now. Like my heart is really, my favorite times for me and seeing my crowd really go off to me have been playing, more of a techier, houseier kind of sound. And yeah, it's just kind of like at this point with my career, and doing it for as long as I've done it, it's where my heart is, and that's what I want to do. Like the EDM thing, that music has just gotten so cheesy. Like if you go on Beatport, the top 100 progressive chart, let's be honest, it's just, I haven't even listened to the top 100 progressive house chart on Beatport in months. I couldn't even tell you what it was, what those records are, because it's just it's just really, for me anyways, it's just a really young kind of I don't know, party music, you know what I mean? Like pop party music, that's kind of what it's turned into. The only guys that are really doing something, in my opinion, that's kind of groundbreaking and cutting edge in progressive house are the Pretty Crew, like Eric Prydz, Jeremy Orlander, Fairplay. Those guys blow me away. Fairplay is one of my favorite DJs right now. I love those guys, and they're writing proper progressive house records, but they're the only ones that I know of anyways. In my opinion, there's a big difference between progressive and that sound, what they're doing.
It's not even progressive house.
And the other stuff, it's electropop is what I would call it. So it's
big hit record, big room.
Big room. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that they've been pigeonholed together. So
they should separate it, because that's not what progressive house is. No, you're right.
If you had the chance to switch bodies and positions with one other person, doesn't have to be a musician or a DJ or anything like that, for a week, just to see what everything's about and experience that, who would it be?
I would. Oh, okay. Well, this is kind of like a cliche answer for me, but I mean, Madonna, I guess, because I love her and I love everything she's done with her life. I mean, that means I would be in charge of children now at this point, and I don't know about that, but I mean, I really respect what she's done with her career. Maybe Madonna while she's on tour, actually like performing and doing her thing. Like, I have a lot of respect for her and everything she's done with her career.
Thank you very much for all the time here. Wish you all the best tonight. Be an emotional trip.
Yes.
But so are many other times.
Yeah,
so.
seriously. Like, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Hi, I'm Sydney Blue, and you're listening to Amplified Radio. Hi, I'm Sydney Blue, and this is my latest track on Amplified Radio.